how is everyone doing today? Sort of okay. A lot is going on. A lot is on my mind, and my heart is very heavy today, actually, with a lot of things that are happening in the world that are affecting my beloved country, South Africa. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. I'm going to discuss the issue of the dispute between South Africa and the United States, and I wanted to highlight certain aspects of that haven't been highlighted as much before. That it's not just about the issue between the so-called white genocide and the South African government and so-called white oppression. There are also other issues that the United States is unhappy about. Case in point, South Africa's stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict, South Africa's relationship with Iran, South Africa's relationship with Russia, whole lot of issues that makes America unhappy with South Africa. But without further ado, we're gonna go into it just now. Yes. The AfriForum delegation that went to the United States and met with some lawmakers and some Trump administration officials. When they were interviewed by some South African news outlets about what was the content of their discussions, they discussed these issues of so-called domestic policies. You know what policies I'm talking about. And they also discussed the issues around Iran, Israel, and all of that. Why is that important? This is important because if you are not South African, you would not know that when it comes to a lot of foreign affairs issues or foreign policy issues, there seems to be black and coloreds on one side and white South Africans on one side, especially conservative white South Africans, and Indians who always seem to be ideological offense. But anyways, black South Africans are almost overwhelmingly, I would say more than 80% of black South Africans on the issue of Israel and Palestine, support Palestine. And overwhelmingly, white South Africans support Israel. And then on the issue of Russia, for instance, let's not just the issue of Russia and Ukraine, just in terms of how we should relate with Russia. Overwhelming majority of South Africans have very fond and affectionate feelings towards Russia, but white South Africans are completely opposed to Russia, calling Russia all kinds of names, Putin in particular, but they've been on the wrong side of Russia, and Russia has been on the wrong side of West Africa for a very long time. And then there's the issues also, like black South Africans in general also have had a long-standing alliance with Cuba. South Africa, for instance, sends many medical students to be trained as doctors in Cuba. And South Africa has had a long-standing alliance with Cuba. And folks, you know how Cuba and America relates or not relate, but white South Africans don't have any positive views towards Cuba. So there is a lot that goes into that. That is not just with regards to contemporary issues, but with regards to the historical struggle against apartheid. And so, but I won't go into that angle for now. But with regards to, because also the United States also has historically been on the wrong side of the black struggle against apartheid. I'm not going to go into that too. I just want to go into the issue of saying that the United States was particularly very aggrieved with the decision of South Africa to take Israel to the International Criminal Court of Justice or something. There are two courts there in The Hague. I'm not sure which one is which, but one of those courts. The United States have been particularly aggrieved about that, have issued many scathing statements and utterances about that with regards to that while President Biden was still in charge. Lawmakers in US Congress threatened South Africa from removing South Africa from the AHOA agreements and all of these other preferential treatments that people get when they are friends with the United States of America. And so that issue has really driven a wedge between South Africa and the West, and particularly the United States, because the EU is closer to South Africa on that issue than it is to the US, which is why several EU nations joined South Africa as amicus to the court with regards to the issue of Israel. But the United States is very unhappy about that. And particularly for now, I find that American lawmakers find this concept that Israel is engaged in a genocide to be a concept that is ludicrous. And I generally believe that they believe that Israel is not committing a genocide, or at least most of them believe that. And they find this suggestion to be a particularly offensive suggestion, to suggest that Israel is committing war crimes. So I have to say it that way so that people can. It's very important to understand another person's perspective, wrong, right, or indifferent. It's very important to understand their perspective and to represent it fairly before you go on to whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, or right in part or wrong in part. But a lot of these lawmakers have followed what they've said, and they are baffled. They are baffled by even a hint that Israel is committing war crimes.